Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode the hidden stories in corporate filings. Today we're diving into CRA International's latest report, and let's just say there's a bit of musical chairs happening in their C-suite that's worth keeping an eye on. Before we dive in, if you're all about getting crystal clear insights from company reports, make sure you're subscribed. And for those who want to connect with fellow finance enthusiasts and get live Q&As, join our Discord community. The link is in the description below. This report is all about some big executive moves and a peek at their shareholder meeting results. So let's break it down. So this report is dated July 22nd, but talks about events that happened on July 16th and July 17th. It's like a corporate recap of recent happenings. We're looking at a Form 8K, which is basically a current report companies file when something significant occurs, like changes in executive leadership. It's their way of telling the world what's up and fast. The company we're focusing on is CRA International Inc., a global advisory firm. Think of them as the experts companies hire to help with tough business problems, from antitrust issues to economic consulting. They're incorporated in Massachusetts, and their stock trades on the Nasdaq Global Select Market under the ticker CRAI. The main story here is in item 5 or 2. It's all about changes at the top. On July 16th, the board of directors made some key promotions. Eric Nierenberg, who was vice president, is now moving up to executive vice president, chief financial officer, and treasurer. That's a big jump, handling all the money matters. Also promoted is Brian Langen, another vice president who is now an executive vice president and will be the chief strategy and business transformation officer. He'll be focused on how the company grows and changes. These changes aren't immediate, they take effect on August 4th, so there's a little transition period. The report also clarifies who's who for official financial reporting. Eric Nierenberg will be the main guy for finances, and Sandra David, who's the chief accounting officer, will be the principal accounting officer. Now, here's an interesting bit. Chad Holmes, who was acting as the interim CFO, will be stepping down from that role. He's not leaving the company though. He's moving to become executive vice president and chief corporate development officer. So it's still a very senior role. Let's talk about Eric Nierenberg. He's 51 years old and joined the senior management team in 2023. He has a pretty impressive background, having been chief strategy officer for MassPrem, which is a big state pension fund. Before that, he was an equity portfolio manager, meaning he managed investments. He also teaches finance at Brandeis University. He even started his career in CRA's finance practice, so he knows the company from the ground up. Now for the money part. As CFO, Nierenberg will get a base salary of $400,000 a year starting August 4th. He's also eligible for a bonus. The target bonus is $250,000, but he could make up to $425,000 depending on how the company and he perform. This bonus is split between company performance and his individual goals. Plus, there's a long-term incentive plan with a target value of $325,000. This usually involves stock-based compensation that vests over time, encouraging him to think about the company's long-term success. He's also getting an immediate equity award in the form of restricted stock units worth $130,000. This will vest over 4 years, meaning he gets a portion each year he stays with the company. And there's more. He's receiving performance-based restricted stock units, aiming for $195,000, but potentially reaching $292,500. These are tied to specific performance goals over a couple of years. Let's turn to Brian Langen. He's 45 years old. He's been with CRA since 2002, starting as a consultant. He's held various roles, including in financial planning and analysis. He's got a solid background in economics and an MBA from Boston College. For his new role, Langen will also receive a $400,000 annual base salary starting August 4th. Just like Nierenberg, he's also up for a target bonus of $250,000 with a maximum of $425,000 based on company and individual performance. He'll also receive a long-term incentive award with a target value of $325,000. And similar to Nierenberg, Langen gets an initial equity award of $130,000 in restricted stock units, vesting over 4 years. He also gets performance-based restricted stock units with a target of $95,000 up to $292,500. It looks like the compensation packages for these two top roles are very similar. Sandra David, who is 58, has been with CRA since 2016. She's been the VP, Chief Accounting Officer and Controller since March 2023. She has over 25 years of experience in accounting. The report notes that no major new plans or contracts were made just for her designation as Principal Accounting Officer. It's also stated that none of these three have family ties to current executives or board members, and there were no hidden deals or understandings that led to these promotions. Now let's touch on something important for executives: severance agreements. These are contracts that outline what happens if an executive leaves the company, especially if they're let go. Both Nierenberg and Langen entered into these executive officer severance agreements on July 18th and 20th respectively. These agreements spell out how they'll be treated if their employment is terminated, either by the company without a good reason or by them for a good reason, which usually means a significant change in their job or compensation. If they're let go without cause or leave for good reason, they'll get their regular salary and target bonus, plus a prorated bonus for the part of the year they worked. This payout is 1 times their salary and target bonus combined. They also get 12 months of continued health insurance payments through COBAR and continued employer contributions for group life insurance. Crucially, any stock awards they haven't fully earned yet will become fully theirs immediately if this happens. There's another scenario. If their employment ends within 12 months after a change in control, that's when the company is bought or merged. In this case, the payout is even bigger. They get 1.5 times their total annual salary and target bonus, plus a prorated bonus. So it's an enhanced severance package in case of a takeover. These agreements also include clauses where the executives promise not to compete with CRA or poach its employees for 12 months after leaving. Moving on to item 507, this covers the company's annual shareholder meeting, which was held on July 17th. There were over 6.6 million shares eligible to vote. The first proposal was to elect directors. Paul Malley and Thomas Avery were elected as Class 3 directors for a 3-year term. Looking at the vote for Paul Malley, over 544 million shares were voted for him, with about 282,000 withheld. There were also about 409,000 broker non-votes. That's where brokers hold shares for clients but don't have instructions on how to vote them. Thomas Avery got an even stronger vote of confidence with almost 5.7 million shares voted for him and a much smaller number withheld. The broker non-votes were the same. Next up was a vote on executive compensation, often called a say-on-pay vote. It's advisory, meaning shareholders give their opinion, but the company doesn't have to follow it legally. Shareholders voted to approve the executive pay by a significant margin. About 5.5 million shares were for it, with around 260,000 against. This indicates general shareholder approval of how the executives are paid. The last proposal was to ratify the appointment of Grant Thornton LLP as their independent auditors for the upcoming fiscal year. This cast overwhelmingly with over 6.1 million shares for it and hardly any against. This is pretty standard as shareholders usually trust the audit committee's choice for auditors. Item 701 is about Regulation FD disclosure, which ensures that major company news is shared with everyone at the same time. They mention that a press release about these executive promotions is also attached. Think of this as the official public announcement that the filing is based on. Finally, item 901 lists the exhibits. These are the actual documents that support the report. We see the severance agreement for Eric Nierenberg as Exhibit 10. And the severance agreement for Brian Langen is Exhibit 10.2. These are the detailed contracts we talked about earlier. Exhibit 99.1 is that press release about the executive promotions. And Exhibit 104 is usually the interactive data file for the cover page, making the filing more digital friendly. The report is signed by Chad Holmes, who, as we mentioned, is stepping down as interim CFO, but is still a key player as Executive Vice President, Chief Corporate Development Officer. This signature confirms the accuracy of the report on behalf of the company. So what's the big picture here? CRA International is definitely making some significant moves in its leadership, particularly with the appointment of a new CFO and a Chief Strategy Officer. These are critical roles, and the compensation packages reflect the importance of bringing in experienced talent and retaining them, especially with those robust severance agreements, which, while standard, do highlight the company's commitment to providing a safety net for these executives in certain termination scenarios. The shareholder votes seem largely positive, showing support for the board's decisions on director elections and executive pay. The main takeaway for investors is the clear path forward, with new leadership in key financial and strategic positions. The company seems to be consolidating its management structure, and the compensation details show they are willing to invest in the talent they believe will drive future success. The severance agreements, while appearing generous, are designed to protect both the executive and the company during potential transitions, especially in the event of mergers or acquisitions. It all points to a company managing its top-tier talent with a comprehensive package of salary, bonuses, equity, and carefully Alright, that's our breakdown of CRA International's latest filing. What's your take on these leadership changes and their compensation packages? Do you think these moves position the company for growth? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this analysis helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of corporate finance. Don't forget to join our Discord community for more discussions. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.